Rain lashed against the palace windows as if the sky itself mourned. Prince Malik sat alone in the grand hall, his hand trembling against the cold iron armrest of his throne. His eyes burned with silent fury, and his leg, twisted since birth, ached with every breath. Malik said, "Leave me. I want no pity, no eyes upon me tonight." His voice cracked like a whip, echoing through the vast emptiness of the chamber. Servants froze mid-step, fear etched in their faces, before fleeing in terrified silence. His world was built on whispers and stares. Behind every bow, every false smile, he heard the same cruel truth. A broken prince was unworthy to rule, unworthy to love. Malik clenched his fists until his knuckles whitened. Memories of battles fought with words, not swords, surged through his mind. "I was born with fire," he muttered bitterly, "but they only see ashes." A flash of lightning illuminated his reflection in a cracked mirror across the hall. The sight made his chest tighten. A man of 28, tall and commanding despite his limp, with deep mahogany skin and eyes dark as storm clouds. Yet all they saw was his crippled leg. His most loyal advisor, Elias, cautiously entered. Elias said, "Your Highness, the council waits. They need to hear your decision." Malik turned slowly, his gaze sharp and unyielding. "I owe them nothing," Malik said coldly. "They hunger for weakness, not leadership." Elias swallowed hard, stepping closer. "Not all of them, my prince. Some still believe in you." "Belief is poison," Malik snapped, his voice laced with venom. "It gives hope, and hope shatters when truth is revealed." He struck the arm of his throne with his palm, the sound echoing like a drumbeat of war. As Elias left, a young woman stood silently in the shadows near the doorway, unseen by Malik. Her name was Amara, a healer from the village beyond the palace walls. She had come seeking answers, carrying wounds of her own. Her breath caught as she saw him, powerful yet fragile, consumed by rage and grief. She whispered to herself, "He hides behind his anger, but I see him. I see the man beneath the crown." Malik's head turned sharply, sensing something. A presence, a heartbeat out of place. "Who is there?" His voice was low, dangerous. Amara stepped forward, her warm bronze skin glowing softly in the flickering torchlight. "I am Amara," she said, voice steady though her heart raced. "I've come to help." Malik's laugh was hollow, bitter. "Help? You think you can fix what even the gods abandoned?" She met his glare, unflinching. "Not fix. Understand." For a moment, the hall fell silent, the storm outside matching the storm within Malik's chest. His lips parted, words forming but unspoken, and then he roared, "Leave me before I destroy you too." Amara flinched but did not move. His rage was a shield, not a sword. She saw that now. Elias's voice echoed faintly from the corridor, calling Malik back to duty. But Malik stood frozen, chest heaving, haunted by the presence of a woman who dared to see him. Outside, the rain fell harder, drowning the palace in darkness. The storm had only begun. Amara's heart pounded as she left the hall. The sight of Malik's pain pierced her deeper than she expected. She had come to heal wounds of the body, yet she sensed his were wounds of the soul. Her friend Nyla's voice echoed in her memory. "Be careful, Amara. A man drowning in darkness will drag you under with him." Amara whispered, "I must try. He hides behind walls, but I will find the door." Outside, rain washed over her, cool against her heated skin. She looked back at the palace, determination burning brighter than the storm. The next morning, sunlight broke through storm clouds, but the palace remained cold. Amara approached Malik again, offering her skills as a healer. Malik said, "I need no charity. Go back to your village." His voice was sharp, laced with contempt. Amara steadied herself. "It is not charity. It is care." He turned away, limping toward the window. "Care is a luxury for kings. I am neither whole nor worthy." Her chest tightened at his words, but she did not leave. Amara sat alone in her chamber, tears threatening to fall. Malik's cruelty stung, but beneath it she felt his fear. She whispered to herself, he is not his anger. He is more than his scars. Pulling a small vial of healing oil from her bag, she clenched it tightly. I will not give up. If he cannot see his worth, I will show him. Outside, the sun broke through clouds, a sign of hope. Deep in the palace archives, Elias discovered a faded scroll bearing Malik's family crest. His hands trembled as he read the words within. A secret long buried threatened to surface. A truth that could destroy Malik and all he loved. Elias whispered, if this comes to light, the prince's heart will shatter. He tucked the scroll away, knowing darkness was closing in. The morning sun painted the village in warm gold, but Amara's heart carried storms of its own. She walked along a dusty path lined with clay houses, memories pressing down with every step. She thought of her late mother, who taught her healing with gentle hands and fierce love. Amara whispered, I will honor you, Mama, no matter the cost. Her father's absence echoed louder than any storm. He left when she was a child, chasing wealth and abandoning his family. Naila's voice rang out from behind, full of concern. Amara, you can't save everyone, especially not a prince who doesn't want saving. Amara turned, her bronze skin glistening in the sunlight, her braided crown swaying. I know, she said softly, but someone once saved me when I didn't deserve it. Naila frowned. This man has power, secrets, and scars. You could lose everything. Amara smiled sadly. Then let me risk everything. If love means nothing without risk, it isn't love at all. She stared toward the distant palace, its silhouette rising like a promise and a threat. Her heart ached, but her resolve burned brighter than her fear. As the wind stirred the trees, she whispered, I will heal him even if I break in the process. The palace was silent, save for the echo of Malik's uneven steps. He limped through the empty corridors, his cloak trailing like a shadow. He paused at a tall window, overlooking the gardens, sunlight struggling to pierce through fog. His reflection stared back, a stranger wearing a crown. Malik whispered, they see only my weakness. Even when I rule, I am caged. In the distance, laughter floated from the courtyards where guards trained, their lives unbroken by pain. He clenched his fists, anger rising. I was born to lead, yet fate mocks me with this body. Malik lowered himself onto a bench near a marble statue of his ancestors. Their stone faces radiated strength he felt he could never match. As thunder rumbled faintly beyond the horizon, he buried his face in his hands. His heart yearned for touch, for love untainted by pity or obligation. Yet every time someone came close, he pushed them away, terrified of being seen. In the dim hall, he whispered, I am a king in name only, and a prisoner in truth. Amara entered the garden quietly, her steps soft on the dew-covered grass. Malik sat beneath a sprawling tree, unaware of her presence. She hesitated, then spoke gently, the storm has passed, but you still look like you're drowning. Malik turned sharply, anger ready on his tongue, but it faltered when he saw her calm gaze. I told you to stay away, he said coldly, though his voice trembled. Amara knelt beside him, close enough to feel his breath. I'm not here to pity you. I'm here to remind you you're still alive. His eyes softened for a fleeting moment before hardening again. Alive doesn't mean whole, he whispered bitterly. She reached for his hand, her touch light as falling rain. Sometimes broken pieces make the strongest vessel. For the first time, Malik didn't pull away. Naila paced their small room, arms crossed tightly. Her copper-toned skin glistened under the lamplight. Frustration etched on her face. Amara, you're losing yourself, she said sharply. You've been sneaking into the palace every day. This is dangerous. Amara stood near the window, staring at the distant towers. He needs me, Naila. Beneath his anger there's a man who's been hurting for years. Naila scoffed. And what about you? Who will heal your heart when he breaks it? Amara turned, her voice trembling but firm. I'm not afraid of heartbreak. I'm afraid of never trying. Naila's eyes softened, sadness replacing anger. I just don't want to bury you because of a love that was never safe to begin with. The silence between them was heavy, filled with both love and dread. Later that night, Malik stood before the council chamber's massive doors. His heart pounded as whispers leaked through the cracks. He pushed the doors open, revealing elders seated in judgment. Their cold stares sliced through him. One elder sneered, "A crippled king cannot protect his people." Malik's jaw tightened. "Strength is not measured in limbs but in will," he said, his voice steady. They murmured among themselves, doubt heavy in the air. When he returned to his private chamber, Amara was waiting. She stepped toward him, but he raised a hand, stopping her. "Do not mistake my moment of weakness for invitation," he said harshly. Her chest ached at the words. "Malik, you don't have to face this alone." He turned his back. "I always have. And I always will." The door closed between them like a final blow. The night air was cool and heavy, with the scent of rain-soaked earth. Malik sat beneath the ancient tree in the garden, his body tense, mind restless. He stared at the scars on his leg, fingers tracing the twisted bone beneath his trousers. In his mind, every scar was a word spoken against him. Amara approached quietly, carrying a small satchel of healing herbs. Her breath was shallow, her heart pounding louder than the crickets around them. Malik didn't turn when he said, "Why do you insist on haunting me like this?" She knelt beside him, her voice gentle but firm. "Because you are worth saving, whether you believe it or not." Malik's jaw tightened. "Do not speak of worth. I am a king in chains, mocked by fate." Without a word, Amara reached out and took his hand. His breath caught as their skin touched, a warmth surging through him like fire meeting ice. For a heartbeat, time froze. His chest rose sharply, and his dark eyes met hers. Amara whispered, "You are more than your pain, Malik." He didn't pull away. For the first time, his walls cracked, and a fragile hope stirred within him. The next morning, the palace courtyard buzzed with preparation for a council feast. Servants rushed past carrying trays, while tension thickened the air. Amara helped arrange garlands of flowers, her mind still replaying the moment with Malik beneath the tree. Suddenly, the crowd parted as Lady Seraphine entered. Her caramel-toned skin gleamed, and her sharp gaze swept over the courtyard like a blade. Whispers followed her as she walked, her silken robe trailing behind. She paused before Amara, lips curling in a cruel smile. "So you are the healer who's been keeping our prince entertained." Amara stiffened, standing tall. "I serve the crown with honor." Seraphine's laugh was cold and elegant. "Honor or ambition?" Her gaze shifted to Malik, who appeared at the far end of the courtyard. Malik's eyes darkened as he saw Seraphine, old wounds reopening. Seraphine bowed slightly, mocking. "My prince, I had hoped to see you well, though it seems you've found other distractions." Malik's voice was ice. "Leave her out of your schemes, Seraphine." Seraphine only smiled wider, knowing she had struck a nerve. Later, Malik sat before the council, the room thick with incense and judgment. Elder Harun, voice like gravel, said, "A ruler must be strong, unwavering. The people whisper about your infirmity and your choices." Malik's hands clenched on the table. "My body may falter, but my spirit does not." Another elder sneered, "And this woman? A common healer? She has no place at your side." Malik's chest tightened, anger and shame warring within him. Elias stepped forward, calm but firm. "We should judge the prince by his actions, not the circumstances of his birth." The elders murmured, their words sharp as knives. Malik's gaze drifted toward the door where Amara stood silently, listening. Her heart ached as she heard the cruelty spoken about him, about them both. For the first time, Malik spoke with fire. "I will not cast her aside to please your pride." Gasps filled the chamber, a storm rising inside and out. That night, Malik and Amara met in the abandoned west wing of the palace, a place untouched by prying eyes. Amara's whisper trembled. "You risked everything defending me before the council." Malik's eyes softened. You are not just a healer, Amara. You are my anchor in this storm. She reached for him, fingers brushing his cheek. He closed his eyes, leaning into her touch like a man starved of warmth. Amara said, "We cannot keep meeting like this." Seraphine grows bolder. The council watches your every move. Malik took her hands, his grip firm. Let them watch. Let them whisper. I will not hide my heart. Her breath caught as his lips brushed hers in a fleeting, desperate kiss. For a brief moment, the world disappeared, leaving only them. As Malik and Amara parted, neither noticed the figure lurking in the shadows. Seraphine's informant, a wiry palace servant, crept closer, his breath quick with excitement. He watched them leave, a cruel smile spreading across his face. In the darkness he whispered, "Lady Seraphine will pay handsomely for this." Back in her chamber, Seraphine gazed into a polished mirror, adjusting her robe. When the servant arrived breathless with news, she turned slowly, eyes gleaming. "So," she purred, "our prince has finally revealed his weakness." The servant nodded eagerly. "They met in secret, my lady. Alone." Seraphine's smile was a weapon. "Perfect. Tomorrow, the court will feast, and I will strike." Outside, the night wind howled like a warning none would heed. The palace gates creaked open at dawn, fog rolling across the stone courtyard like ghostly whispers. A cloaked rider dismounted slowly, revealing a man whose presence stirred old memories Malik had long buried. Elias froze at the sight, his breath catching. "No, it cannot be you." The man lowered his hood, showing sharp features and dark chestnut skin, eyes haunted with regret. "It is me, Elias," he said softly. "Tell Malik his father has returned." Elias's heart pounded. "You were presumed dead after the rebellion. The prince built his life upon your absence." The man's voice broke. "I know. And now I return to claim what I left behind." From the balcony above, Malik appeared, his face pale with disbelief. His voice was raw. "Father?" The word trembled in the air, heavy with pain and anger. The returning king bowed his head. "My son, forgive me, if you can." Amara hurried through the palace corridors seeking Malik. She stopped abruptly when she overheard hushed voices behind a half-closed door. Seraphine's cold tone cut through the air. "His father's return will shatter him. The truth about the rebellion is worse than his crippled leg." Another voice, oily and sly, replied, "Shall we tell him?" Seraphine laughed softly. "No. Let him hear it in pieces. Pain is sharper that way." Amara's heart thudded painfully. She pressed her hand to her mouth, trembling. She slipped away silently, her mind reeling with questions and dread. Racing down the hall, she whispered to herself, what truth could wound him more than his scars? Her only thought was to warn Malik before Seraphine struck again. In the royal hall, Malik faced his father, rage and sorrow battling within him. "You abandoned me," Malik shouted, voice echoing like thunder. "You left me to bear your failures." The older man's eyes filled with guilt. "I fled to protect you. The rebellion sought my head, and they crippled you to punish me." Malik staggered, the truth striking like a blade. "You mean, my suffering was their message to you?" His father nodded, tears brimming. "I return now to end this chain of pain." Malik's fists trembled. "You returned for yourself, not for me." Amara entered quietly, her heart aching as she witnessed the confrontation. She whispered, "Malik, you are not his sins." Malik's voice broke. "But I am his scars." The room fell silent, the weight of history pressing down on them all. That evening, Seraphine met with her informant in a shadowed chamber, lit by a single lantern. She paced like a predator, voice smooth yet venomous. "The prince is unraveling. His father's return has opened old wounds." The servant bowed low. "Shall I spread word of his weakness, my lady?" Seraphine smiled coldly. "Yes, let the people doubt him. Let them see a broken king unfit to rule." The servant hesitated. "And the healer, Amara?" Seraphine's eyes glimmered with malice. "She is his heart, Strike her, and he will fall. Outside the chamber, Elias overheard, his face etched with fear and urgency. He whispered to himself, I must warn them before it's too late. Rain poured down as Malik and Amara stood in the deserted garden. Amara reached for him, tears mixing with the rain. You must listen, Malik. Seraphine is plotting against you. She will use me to hurt you. Malik turned away, his face shadowed. My world has been built on lies. How can I trust anyone now? Her voice broke. You don't have to trust the world. Just trust me. He shook his head, pain twisting his features. If I love you, she wins. If I push you away, at least you're safe. Amara sobbed, clutching his arm. Don't do this. Don't let fear steal what we've found. Malik's whisper was barely audible. Goodbye, Amara. He limped away into the storm, leaving her alone with a shattered heart. Amara stood at the edge of the village square, cloak whipping in the cold night wind. Her heart ached, but her resolve was steel. She would not allow Seraphine to destroy Malik. Nyla clutched her arm, voice urgent. Amara, stop this madness. Seraphine has power. She will crush you. Amara met her friend's gaze, eyes blazing. Then let her try. Malik has fought alone for too long. Nyla's lips trembled. He pushed you away to keep you safe. Amara shook her head fiercely. Safety without love is just another prison. Thunder rumbled in the distance as Amara turned toward the palace. I will fight for him, she declared, even if it means standing against the whole court. Nyla whispered, tears streaming, may the ancestors protect you. Amara disappeared into the storm, heart pounding with fear and fire. Malik stood before a tall mirror, his reflection fractured by cracks in the ancient glass. He saw the boy who had been broken, the prince mocked by courtiers, and the man now drowning in choices. His father entered quietly, eyes full of remorse. My son, you cannot fight Seraphine alone. Malik didn't turn. I have fought alone my entire life. His father stepped closer. But not this battle. She strikes at your heart, at the woman you love. Malik's fists clenched. And if I fight, she will bleed too. How can I protect her without destroying her? His father placed a trembling hand on his shoulder. By facing the truth, instead of running from it. Malik stared at his reflection, whispering, I am more than my scars. I must be. The grand hall was filled with nobles and elders, their voices a low hum of anticipation. Seraphine stood at the center, poised like a serpent ready to strike. She raised her voice, smooth and deadly. Our prince hides behind weakness and secrets. Shall we let such a man lead us? Gasps rippled through the crowd as Malik entered, cloak billowing behind him. His voice cut through the noise. I hide nothing. My scars are proof of survival, not shame. Seraphine sneered. And the healer? Proof of weakness. Amara stepped forward, her voice strong. I am proof of love, not weakness. The hall fell silent. Malik's gaze swept the room. Judge me if you must, but know this, I will fight for my people and for her. The storm outside seemed to answer his defiance with thunder. Elias burst into the hall, breathless and desperate. Stop. The rebellion, the lies, they were all Seraphine's design. The crowd erupted in chaos, voices clashing like swords. Malik's eyes widened. What are you saying, Elias? Elias pointed at Seraphine, trembling. She orchestrated your father's exile. She caused the attack that crippled you. Gasps and cries filled the hall. Seraphine's face hardened, mask of elegance cracking. Fools, I did what was needed to protect the throne. Malik roared, his pain breaking free. You destroyed my life for power. Seraphine spat back. You were never meant to rule. God surged forward as the hall descended into chaos. After the hall emptied, Malik and Amara stood alone amid broken chairs and fallen banners. Malik's voice was raw. I tried to push you away to keep you safe, but all I did was hurt you. Amara's tears glistened in the torchlight. You hurt me, yes, but I hurt more when you were gone. He reached for her, hands trembling. I am scarred, bitter, unworthy of you. She held his face, her voice fierce. You are worthy because you fight, because you love, because you rise even when they try to break you. Their lips met in a desperate, soul-deep kiss, sealing a vow stronger than any crown. In that moment, the storm outside finally began to fade. The palace lay silent after the chaos, broken banners draped across the marble floors. Malik stood alone in the throne room, his shoulders heavy, eyes shadowed by exhaustion. The air still smelled of smoke and rain, the echoes of the night's betrayal lingering like ghosts. He whispered to himself, I fought to protect them, yet I nearly lost everything. Outside, the sun struggled to break through the clouds, casting a pale light through shattered windows. Elias entered quietly, his face etched with sorrow. My prince, the people wait for your word. Malik didn't turn. What word can I give? Truth has shattered their faith. Elias stepped closer. Then give them hope. Even broken hope is better than silence. Malik's hand clenched on the iron armrest of his throne. I will try. In a quiet chamber, Nyla tended to Amara's wounds, wrapping a bandage around her bruised arm. Nyla's voice was gentle but firm. You risked everything for him, and still you stand here broken. Amara winced but managed a small smile. I'd rather be broken fighting for love than whole living in fear. Nyla's eyes softened. You've always been stubborn, but Amara, what about you? Who heals the healer? Amara's gaze dropped, tears shimmering. I don't know. Maybe Malik will, if he lets himself. Nyla cupped her face. And if he doesn't? Amara inhaled shakily. Then I will heal myself, one scar at a time. The two women embraced, bound by friendship and shared pain. Malik stood on the palace balcony, the city sprawled beneath him. The air was cool and carried the distant sound of rebuilding after the night's destruction. His father joined him, gaze steady. You must choose, my son. Lead with pride or love with vulnerability. Malik's jaw tightened. If I choose love, they will see it as weakness. His father shook his head. No, they will see courage. A king who dares to love is stronger than one who hides behind walls. Malik's chest rose sharply as he whispered, and if she cannot forgive me? His father's voice softened. Then you love her anyway, even if from afar. The decision weighed heavier than any crown. Amara waited in the garden, the night alive with the scent of blooming flowers after rain. Her hands trembled as she clutched a small vial of healing oil. Malik approached slowly, limping but unbroken. His voice was rough. You shouldn't be here. Amara met his gaze, tears welling. Then tell me to leave, and I will. He couldn't. Instead, he stepped closer. I was a fool. I let fear speak louder than love. Her breath hitched. And now? Malik reached for her hand. Now I ask for forgiveness. And for you to stay. Her tears fell freely as she whispered, I never left. Their foreheads touched as silence carried their vow. The next morning, the city gathered as Malik addressed his people. Amara stood quietly behind him, her presence a silent promise. Malik's voice rang clear. I am not a perfect ruler. I am scarred, flawed. But I am yours. The crowd erupted in cries of support, hope flickering in their eyes like dawn breaking. He glanced at Amara, gratitude and love unspoken but undeniable. Their hands brushed briefly, hidden from view, a private truth amid public duty. As the sun rose higher, a fragile peace settled over the land. Together they faced the future, scarred but unbroken. Seraphine sat alone in her private chamber, the echoes of the council's condemnation still ringing in her ears. The once proud woman stared at her reflection, crown gone, robes torn. Her voice cracked as she whispered, I built an empire of lies, and it crumbled beneath me. Outside, guards stood ready, waiting for orders to escort her into exile. She rose slowly, spine straight despite her fall. Let them watch, she murmured. They will never see me break. Elias entered, his gaze steady but cold. Your reign of fear ends tonight, Seraphine. Fine? Her eyes glimmered with bitter defiance. Fear never dies, Elias. It simply waits for a new face. As she walked past him, her shadow seemed to fade into nothingness. In the quiet palace garden, Malik prepared a small table lit by lanterns, a space meant only for Amara. He placed a single white flower in the center, hands trembling. When Amara entered, surprise softened her face. Malik, what is this? He swallowed hard. A promise, to choose you, even when the world tries to tear us apart. Her eyes shimmered. You already chose me the moment you let me see you. Malik took her hands, voice low. I am not healed, Amara, but with you, I begin to believe I can be. She smiled through tears. Then, let's heal together. They embraced under the lantern light, the night still and sacred around them. Later, Amara walked through the village alone, the distant palace lights glowing behind her like fading stars. Her heart was heavy but resolute. She passed familiar faces who greeted her with quiet respect, their whispers carrying hope instead of fear. At the old well she paused, staring at her reflection in the water. I have given my love, she whispered softly. Now, I must remember who I am, apart from him. The night breeze brushed her skin, cool and grounding. For the first time she felt the weight of her own journey, a healer, a lover, a woman unbroken. She turned toward home, her steps steady, her spirit free. At dawn, the palace returned to stillness. Malik stood alone on the balcony, watching the sunrise bathe the city in gold. The wind tugged at his cloak, carrying scents of wet earth and blooming flowers. His father approached quietly, standing beside him. You've survived storms, his father said softly. Now you must learn to live in calm waters. Malik nodded, his voice low. Calm feels strange after so much chaos. His father placed a hand on his shoulder. It will feel less strange with time. They stood together in silence, no more words needed, as the sun climbed higher. That evening, as lanterns flickered across the village, Amara sat beneath the ancient tree, where she and Malik first touched. She closed her eyes, listening to the night birds and the rustle of leaves. Her voice was a whisper carried by the wind. Love is not the absence of scars. It is the courage to show them. The words lingered in the air long after she rose and walked away, leaving the tree standing silent witness to their story. And in the silence, a new beginning waited, unseen but certain.